Hello, Mgtows. Hello, man. There's my intro. I'm beating on my bong. I love beating on my drum. This is a little drum I bought for myself that when I get upset, I just start beating on it. And that's probably pretty normative. Well, I don't know if it's normative, and that's what we're going to talk about today. It's just unique to you. Many people do many different things with which are normative. Hello, Riff. Hello, CJ. Do many different things with. There we go. Let me get back to. There we go. Okay, it was normative. What's considered normative? Often in Mgtow, we get this thing that we have to do around here, and that thing is pretty. It's okay, Mgtow. You've moved on, but don't move on too far. And you guys, if you're a Mgtow or if you're a men's rights activist, you know normies out there, they have this idea of their normative. That's a traditional conservative normative, how they treat the women, how they date, how they go to church, how they do that, and Mgtow breaks the mold on that. So right off the bat, you're not considered normative in the norms in society. You're breaking all the rules. You're walking away. This is an idea of normative, and there's there's a couple examples I like to give in real life. Mgtow's a good example of breaking away from what we consider as normative. Feminism has the same thing. When Jessica Valente, let's talk about when Jessica Valente said women need a man like fish need a bicycle, man, all hell broke loose on the internet, and everybody was like, what the heck does that mean? What the heck did that mean? We see it in that. It's not considered normative for her to, in the traditional lights just went, I didn't see nothing wrong with it, but the traditional lights just went crazy about that. And it was just, I thought it was pretty funny. And, but they do the same thing to us too. The traditional lights will want to stick you in that box and that what's normative bucket that you're in, and everybody's got to stay in that bucket. Don't get escape velocity because you probably end up in another bucket that you're unfamiliar with. But yeah, that's it. And I see it in the recovery community too. So I worked in a recovery community for a long time, and there's ideas of what's normative in there, and these people they get recovery, and Mgtow's like this too. We're recovering from our addiction of what? Go your own way, Mgtow. Go your own way. You know what we're covering our addiction of? That V, that pyramid of normality, that pyramid, that split V, and we're recovering from our addiction to that. We're recovering from our addiction to people lying to us in life and projecting that there's some normative in society that they were going to show you some rules and you were going to follow them. And if you followed them, everything was going to turn out right. And you did, and everything turned out wrong. And 90% of us are, if teachers and philosophers and psychiatrists that were graded on their work of what they tell us is normal in society comparatively to the failures in society, that's a pretty good way to look at they're totally failing. So we need a new philosophy. We got Mgtow, and what we do is we walk away. And so I'm considered extreme myself because I say fathers, it's not a real thing. Fatherhood is not a real thing. But they're saying that thing to me when I say that. And I get this from in Mgtow. Joe, you're allowed to move on and do your own thing as long as you don't move too far. Jessica Valente moved too far. Mgtow sometimes I move too far. I move faster than the group is willing to move. And in the recovery community, like I was talking about, there's this thing that goes on where they start going to meetings and they start doing normative things, and then their life becomes about keeping their sobriety. Now, there's a couple things that are not considered normal in society: total abstinence and like sobriety of totally abstinence, or total celibacy, abstinence of sexual things. that's considered going too far in this society. And the recovery community has to deal with it all the time. They start doing their things, and everybody says, can't you just be normal and have a few drinks like everybody else? And they know they can't be normal and have a few drinks like everybody else in this world. That's what we're saying. We can't be normal and have a few drinks of that like everybody else in the world. It becomes a, in this thing, there's a lot of things that you have to consider. What is normative drinking? What is this thing that we do? And I'm trying to find my spot here. We get this in gender dynamics all the time. What is normative? And we think when we look at them, they're not acting, or there's what we're getting put on us is really not normative. You go up to your street, there's sexy girls pasted on the side of buses. There's Tinder ads on billboards as you're driving into the city, and everybody's doing everything in excess, and it all becomes very difficult to think about what normative is. And when we go outside of the box, we're saying, hey, we're just going to leave the girls alone. But they'll come back to us a lot and they'll say, oh man, you guys are extreme. You guys hate women. And that's a very abnormal reaction to what is considered normative in our society, because we're looking at it and we're saying, well, we look at you people, your over sexuality, your heightened triggery emotions, your the way they act and everything, and it becomes very clear to us that that's not normal. That's not what life should be. That's not how people should act and everything. When we look at let me see, blah 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 blah. When we look at these things, there's heuristic ways that we look at them, and there's ways that we expose ourselves to the world and everything. We look at it as this, it's a way of a prescription. It's like we take a prescription every day. We're taking a red pill. It's a prescription to normality, because everybody else is being subjected to really horrible things out there by marketing and people that believe they have a right to push this crap on you. And it's a very complex world we live in, and desire is a great thing to attach to. And we were going to talk about desire, and we're going to talk about that sooner or later. But desire, men have desire for these things. All you got to do is put up a picture on a bus that's driving by of a sexy woman on top of a motorcycle or a Ferrari, and that becomes the new outlandish dream of the mid 40s male. They're going to get a Ferrari, and it's a false equivocation that, man, if I get a motorcycle or a Ferrari, then I can have that woman. And it's just totally untrue, and it's false. But man, go out there and look, and you see the absurdity of that. I mean, every car dealership's trying to sell sexy women. Every billboard has it on there. Every motorcycle dealer says, hey, you want to pick up the babes, buy one of these. And it's a false equivocation to an object or something in the world that I would just consider an object. And in these three groups, we look at it very, very differently too. When Jessica Valenti said that women need a man like a fish needs a bicycle, she's probably right about that. In my opinion, of fatherhood, and fathers need women like a duck needs peanut butter, I suppose. I'm not sure what the saying would be, but we don't need in both ways, we really don't need it. We're looking at the prescription of Mgtow that's given out, and we're looking at what's good for me now, and I'm going to keep taking my prescription, because I know I can't have one drink. I can't have two drinks. I can't do that like normative people, like in the addiction community. I personally can have one or two drinks. It doesn't really bother me, but I know that if I go, hey, why don't you just have a drink and be normal, That would be about the most cruel thing that you can do to a person. But that's what they do to us. They like, hey, hey, you Mgtows, why don't you just act normal? Just have, go get yourself a girl and be, just be normal with that and just have one drink of that. And that's not possible for me. I start looking at the whole 9 yards. I do everything like I do everything in life. 100%. That's what got me in trouble. I did traditionality 100%. When I pick something, I do it, and I do it 100%, and I do it the best of my ability, and that's it. Just to say, okay, I'm over. I do everything that way. Most men do everything that way. Just go out and get one of them and pick one of them. That's like telling an alcoholic just to have one drink. We look at the problems of this thing in feminism. When I said Jessica Valenti, she sees there's different perceptions of normal too, and she sees that I know it's exactly what she sees, and that she sees the risk of the dependence on a male. And that's what she's talking about. We don't need you no more, because she's saying there is so much risk in dependence on a male. And when we're saying Mgtow is saying quite about the same thing. Mgtow is risk seen as involvement in relationships and harm that could come from those things. And the recovery to normative behavior, like I said, is don't have like one beer, because you're not going to be able to. If someone tells you, oh, just have one beer, you're not going to be able to stop if you're in a recovery community. So all three of these groups, in my opinion, have something in common. What we do is of a prescriptive nature, hence the red pill. Hence, I think our gender dynamics groups together kind of came up with the red pill. And then lately, the normies have taken over the red pill and made it something totally weird. But the red pill in itself is just something prescriptive to ourselves, where we can see these risks to ourselves. And what they're doing is they're coming back in this day, and there's this standard of normative behavior. Now we look at Jessica Valenti, and they go, oh, you were extreme. And what's their opinion of extreme? Their opinion of extreme is based on the normie blue pill world that's really we're not part of. So we're really not part of that. I was trying to think of an analogy today of escape velocity. You're in a bucket. You got two buckets, and you got a ball, and you're pushing the ball, and it doesn't go out. And you push the ball, it doesn't go out, and then you push it hard, and you get escape velocity, and then the ball falls into another bucket next to it. So you just pushed it out from the bucket you were in to another bucket. That's kind of like what life is too. Scientifically, I can't remember the term. That's what Mgtow was supposed to hit. We're supposed to get this media exposure and everything. We're going to get that. But in the analogy, you're just going from one bucket to the next bucket, and it's very scientific. And if you ever do the research on that sort of stuff, is like, what is escape velocity? Get maximum force to escape velocity, so you can excuse me, you can remove yourself from this group, and then you end up in another group, which is the same thing. And it's just. We do these things around here, and the normative rules and standards in which people, apply behavior to in a group. And Mgtow does it more of this heuristic fashion. There's this solving this idea of self-discovery and practical heuristic self-discovery, practical methods, and shortcuts. So we take the shortcut is what we do. We do it very heuristically, and we go from this to, we're just going to just leave you girls alone. Go do your thing, we're saying. Go do your thing. Bust through that glass ceiling, baby. And, Claire, just go do that, Claire. We want you to have fun doing that. And we don't really care what you're doing. And as long as you leave us alone and leave us alone to do what we want to do. And Mgtow is what we're doing now. So there's prescription holistic way of jumping right to the we cut to the quick on these things is what we do. We go right to the answer in Mgtow, and then the whole world comes around here and they start, oh, Mgtow, you're just not being very normative. You guys are being extreme. I think that's the funniest thing in the whole world when I see that. I see there's no sense in itself. There's no sense in us trying going out there and doing that. We consider. I'm not going to. I look around. I don't want herpes. It's like catching a disease, and it's like this COVID-19 thing. There's a certain amount of risk out there you're taking. Now think of Mgtow like that. You got a certain amount of risk, and it's COVID-19's out there now, and herpes, and probably worse. It kills more men than anything else in this world. Is vaginosis. That's when you get little vaginas all over your skin and you become like Eli. I'm just kidding. But no, there's COVID-19 out there, and we look at it that we look at it's a prescriptive action to the risk that is out there. So you can go out once in a while, go to the grocery store and everything, wear your little mask. You can do that. And would anybody say during these times that if you walked in with the big blue gloves and a mask on, that wasn't normative? And that was my analogy today. Mgtow's living in different times. We live in different times where there's a lot of risk. And even though sometimes it looks like we have the mask on and the big blue gloves, it's like, would that be considered not normative in any other? No, in this time we have diseases out there where you can get very sick and have to go through like something like, what's that Mario Como guy? He didn't look very sick, but isn't it a wonder? I was wondering why that only sports stars, actors, and TV personalities and politicians are the only ones that get COVID-19. Wonder why that is. But we understand there's risk and you might want to stay inside. No matter what the risk is, whether it's risk from your government doing some screwed up experiments on asteroids, or if it's risk from women, or if it's considered normal to do that now. But if you would have walked out like 2 years ago with purple gloves on and a mask, everybody would have considered you abnormal. But nowadays, and that's Mgtow, where I take these certain risks with this thing that I do, I don't take no risk in my life. And with this thing I do, I start questioning everything about society that there is. Like Jessica Valente, she says, I don't need a man, is what she was saying. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care if a woman needs a man or wants a man. And I just go do that. Go girl, have the best life you possibly can. And I'm just sitting over here, and I wish that they wished for me the same. Don't you ever like wish that? You ever I wish that these people wished for me the same, that I have a great life, that things work out great for me, that everything works out well in Mgtow and I'm happy, because that's what I wish for them. I understand the extreme that they had to go to. I understand because you know why? Because it's standpoint epistemology is what it's called. I understand the extreme that you went to, because guess what? I understand the extreme I had to go to too, to explain this world to myself. So nobody has to tell me. Nobody has to tell me what they're going through, because I understand what I have to go through. It's a standpoint. We both see eye to eye that there are extremes that are going to need to be done and said, and to fix this society, because it is so abnormal. It is so abnormal. It's almost crazy. When I drive into town right there, you can see in back of me, that's my beautiful picture of Cleveland from underneath the bridge. So that's actually what's called Irish Bend right there. And the river, the Cuyahoga River, goes under there and it bends around. And then it goes like that. And there's Irish Bend, and there's construction areas right there. And there's where they mix cement and everything. But up top here was what you call the Tremont area. What we call the Tremont area is right up here, and there's some great restaurants and everything. So if you're ever in Cleveland, go to the Tremont area, and you can experience some really. It's a really great place to be. From the flats up to the Tremont area is just woo. It's like tonight. That's what they're doing on a Friday night. Everybody in Cleveland, everybody in the suburbs. Cleveland's not a very big city. It only has like 300,000 people in it. But everybody from the suburbs and out, we have like 20 million people all coming down into the city to do shit. So that's my picture of them. And but what is normative in this thing? Normative is an idea from the normies, or the ideas, and it's not a rule. It's not a lot of our rules come from normative ideas. It's a normative phenomenon in human philosophy or human sociology. But you're evaluating something. You're making a judgment on it, and that's what it is. Intuition. It's an intuitional. Normative in itself is an intuitional thing, where you're making a judgment on whether something is right or wrong, and it becomes there becomes social norms and social laws which come that. But in some situations, like I say, COVID-19, if you had a mask and purple gloves on and you walked out there, no one would think that you're weird. But 2 years ago, if you had a mask and purple gloves on, and that's what Mgtow's like. We're ahead of the ball. We're ahead of the game. Excuse me. I'm drinking from the wrong pipe here. Smoking too. That's so that's what Mgtow is. You're ahead of the game. If you would have started wearing your mask 2 years ago and wearing your purple gloves and going, no, I'm not going to get that COVID-19, and then it comes around, you would have looked like a freaking prophet. Nowadays, if I would have known, I would have stacked up 1 million masks in my garage and been selling them. I really would. I'd be like, $2 a mask. I paid like nothing for these. They're dirt cheap, and or I'd have been stealing them from the local hospital or something. But yeah, it would have been considered a norm, but it's considered, and that's what Mgtow's like, and that's what I'm going to say. That's feminism came along, and it doesn't really bother me because I'm so out of that whole thing, that whole gender dynamics thing. I'm just a Mgtow. I'm sitting over at the Mgtow bench. I'm trying to learn about the world that I live in. So if I would die. At least I would learn about the world I live in and how people act and how people think and what's all this all about here. And I tried, really. Most of the normie society, here goes motorcycles. For those guys with motorcycles, I have to tell you, the decibels on a Harley are the perfect decibels on a Harley for a reason. They put that, I can't remember what it is, 42 to 52C or something like that. And when they drive, when you're out there on a road, it means they got a decimal that decimal because it doesn't echo. What happens is a motorcycle will be driving by and it's echoing off the guardrail or a brick wall, and you as a driver, your nerves and your ears and everything are picking that up, and you think he's on this side and he's really on that side. That's why the decibels are there, because it's ricocheting off of some of the surrounding objects, so you keep those down. But I noticed those guys aren't very bright. They want to get those. I had some guy going, telling me, oh, I'm going to make it as loud as I can. And I'm saying, well, that does exactly the opposite of human understanding, because we're hearing things that are resonating out from objects and trying to measure where those objects are. But it always bothers me when I see a Harley drive down the street and it's like, blah, 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 and it's got the huge pipes on there. And it's like, oh, you're going to be dead this year. And Harley had that figured out. You know, they did millions of dollars worth of studies to figure out what the perfect decimal was when it came off the line. I pretty much trust them. But one just rode down the street. Makes me crazy. So summer's coming up, and we're going to have to start dealing with all that irrational behavior from the youngins. They're youngins, and they're going to be out there running around and everything. And there's going to be a new norm that's coming around, but that new norm's looking a little bit different lately than it is, and there's going to be considerations and things that you're going to have to accept in this life, that there's going to be things that you can't do for a little bit, a couple of months. I don't know how long this thing's going to last. If it lasts more than a couple of months, we might as well just go to war, because at least it'll give us something to do, and all the guys will be ready for that. And let's just fight it out now. I'm ready. Let's just fight it out. but but if you would have talked about these things 2 years ago, you would have looked like a genius. And that's what Mgtow's sort of like. It's like we're talking about these things before they become the norm, before we start talking. We can see it coming in, and it's like those two buckets that I talked about. You got the ball and you flick it once and it doesn't make it out. You got that ball and you flick it again and it doesn't make it out, and you flick it a little harder and it goes into it gets terminal, it gets exit velocity, and it goes out, but it's just falling into another bucket. And we're going to have another bucket there when or another bin, or whatever the next thing is. It's just going to be another thing that we're going to have to go through and everything. And where the world's going to take it from there, I don't know. I probably won't be around, and that's a great thing. I want to say hello to Mike and Wookie and Arms of Thor. Hello, Mr. Jones and Mike, and I don't see Joey in here. I don't see my gaming board, and I don't see Riff. Hello, Riff. Hello. Good to see you guys. And it's a Friday night. I didn't even know. Rick RP had to tell me, oh, it's Friday night, and I said, oh, wow, geez, I didn't even know that. I've been just sitting around most of the week, and when I'm not here, I was just outside riding my bike. It's been a beautiful, just gorgeous week. You can probably tell by my rosy complexion and my sunny disposition. I've been out all week just riding a bike, and it's been beautiful. Went up to like 63 yesterday. Shocking. Today I was riding through the park. I usually go down around my house, go pick up what I need to do at the store, come back around, right through the park, and go through the park, and it's like 6 miles. And there's a lot of people down in the park, and I was thinking, is this normative to what I regularly see? Because I go to the park almost every day, and summer or winter, I like to go down by the river and just throw some rocks in the water, or just watch the people that are walking by and everything. And there was just a large amount of people, and families. There was these family units walking, and there was the bikers and the joggers, like normal, like myself. But I noticed this other group, and there was like old people being pushed around, and they're being pushed around in wheelchairs, and to the park where they can go enjoy looking at and that was kind of weird. So the things are changing, and there's this weird new social thing happening. There's this real creepy old lady. She had the creepy old "Are you dead" lady look to her. Like when you walk into a ruin and you see her, you go, oh God, please don't let her be dead. Don't let her be dead. And yeah, they had her rolling her up in a wheelchair, and she had the witch sort of nose and the totally colorless skin, and it's like they're rolling her around, and her hair was like all over down there and everything, and it's like, oh man, that's something I don't usually get to see when I'm at the park. Is really, I seen a guy, and I thought he was going to have a heart attack. I swear to God, he was in a walker. And there's a big hill. You guys seen the hill when I ride that bike down the hill, and it says go slow, and I go no, because I want to see if I can hit 35 miles an hour down those winding roads. Hell no. I'm on a bike. We're gonna go down that hill as fast as we can, and the roller skaters and the kids love it because they got their little, what do you call those things that they the little scooters, and they bring them down to this hill, and it's like a long hill down into the valley, and they get on those scooters, and it's perfect rolling too. You can roll a scooter, and they want to see how fast they can get going down on those things. It's like, and it's perfectly normal to do that. It's like, I guess, but the old people are down there today, and this guy was walking up, and I'm coming down with my bike and I'm looking and I'm like, that's an old guy walking up this hill in a freaking walker. And this hill, you've seen the hill that I go down. It's pretty huge. It's like it's the river cut a gorge, and I've been there for a million years, and it cut a gorge and into the valley, and you got to go down into that thing. It's just like going, if you ever went down into the gorge in Niagara Falls, or if you have a river around you, you know you got to go walk down into the gorge to get there, because the river takes the height. It's eventually going to take the height of water. Wherever water is, it's eventually trying to cut down to that far. And so there was this old guy walking up today, and I was just, wow. And he looked like the creepy old lady. I think the creepy old lady that I just hoped wasn't dead in a wheelchair, and the guy walking up, I hope they get together. But it's a whole new, that would be great. It's like park dating for old people. Test your skills on the hill of death, where if you can make it all the way up, you won't have a heart attack. It's like you're proven to be fit. Going up that hill is a bear. I have to hit I use my low up mountain biking gear on that. You got the special gear for going up, because you got to drive up to do mountain biking, and that's the first thing you have to do. And it is a little bit of a bear going down into there. And there's old people down there, and there was family units, and there was all sorts of non-regulars. Usually it's the bikers, the joggers, and we fight because the bikers and the joggers hate each other. And that's our gang. I belong to the Gray Alliance, we call ourselves. The Gray Pill. Yeah, I'm the Gray Pill. It's the Gray Alliance, and that's my biker gang down in the park, and we're going to beat up the joggers. I'm just kidding. But that's what it seems like sometimes. We all kind of know each other, and the joggers are always yelling at us for, going by them too fast. And I'm like, I always say, hey, I'm on the left. I'm on your left. Just don't freak out when I come around you. Joggers. Yeah, that's my new cyclist gang, the Gray Alliance. I love that. I'm gonna get a shirt made that. The Gray Alliance, the Gray Pillars. And so I'm down there and I'm doing my thing today, and it was quite beautiful. It's just another gorgeous, beautiful Ohio spring day. And I hate seeing other bikes. I hate seeing other bikes. I like to pretend I have the only way. Yeah. You got to get around bikes sometimes too. And I got a motor on mine, so I'm trying to go really fast down there, and I want to get to my destination so I can stand. I have this spot that I go to, and it's a little outlook, and it's like I put my bike there, and then I just stand there like this, and I can outlook over all my. It's like I'm King Joe, I can. Yes, I proclaim that this is all mine, and so it's. And then I'm trying to figure out how to get down into the valley right there, so I can go fishing there. That's what I'm really doing. I want to get down there to see if there's some fish down there, and but yeah, the park's an interesting place. But there is a new norm even there in the park, and all the bathrooms are closed off. They closed off all the bathrooms. So you got to pee in the woods, except for the old people. They got diapers. They could just pee wherever they want. Maybe I should get a diaper. Maybe that's going to be the new norm in the park. Like, just bring a diaper. Adult Depends. It's like the year of the infinite jest. It's like year of the adult diaper. That's what we're coming into, year of the adult diaper. Depends diaper for everybody. Where they you know what else they cut down? They cut off the children's play area, so you can't bring kids down there no more. And they cut off the sitting areas. You're not allowed to sit on the benches. And it's like you could just keep exercising and moving forward under the supreme rule of our government. Just keep moving, move along. That's what we used to do in crowd control when I worked crowd control for the military. We'd be like, just keep moving along, don't stop. That's what it's become. It's become this military attitude with everything now. Just keep moving along, don't stop. You're get to the venue and get inside the venue where you'll be safe, whatever your certain venue is. Um, but it's a new world, and I find it quite entertaining. I entertain myself with thought while I'm out there with Mgtow thought. My road, huh, CJ? I just want to armbar old people when I go by on my bike. just armbar joggers and old people, like, boom, out of my park. This is the Gray Alliance, and we're taking over. Jesus. There's going to be park battles this year. And I've never seen any violence in the park. It's like, how can you have any animosity towards anything when the bluebirds are, and there's just turkey hawks and fish are just jumping in the stream. Little bluebirds are coming up and landing on your head, and like, oh, little bluebird, just go away. And it's like the park's the most beautiful place in the whole world. And but this year, I think there's going to be like coronavirus wars, and like you came within my space, and I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That's great. The blue gloves will be around 2x2. What's I was watching? What is that from? 2x2 Hands of Blue with the Serenity. What was that? John Kramer's favorite. I watched it like a couple weeks ago, probably the whole series of. It's the only real space pirate movie there is out there. It's a Serenity. What is it called? Firefly. They have yet to reproduce the beauty and they just reproduced that Firefly thing, and they've tried, but they just failed so hard on a couple of them. So yeah. I mean, she was always saying 2x2 Hands of Blue because they had the blue gloves on. Which, now that I think about this coronavirus thing, I have the blue gloves in my pocket because I just think they're like Dexter-like. And it's like, what other gloves would Joe wear? It's like Dexter gloves. That's pretty unique. But back to the subject we were talking about, what is normative in the society now? Normative seems to be out the door. And let me look at the normative seems to be out the door, and everything's different and everything's changing, and we're going to have to get used to it. Ooh, I got 11 downvotes. Woo! I guess Spazarus and his gang are here. Spazarus and his gang. And that's kind of weak. Let me do a little more on that. Yeah, 11 downvotes. Someone, what is Claire? What is the Claire joke? Claire joke. Claire joke's a joke in telling on yourself. It's a joke. It's sort of how to act normal if you're trying to keep anonymity. And Claire is the archetype of like Clarice from the Silence of the Lambs. So we've been joking, and the Claire joke out there is like Claire is coming around, and we had a mistake. Laz actually made the mistake, and it was just so funny. It just tells you what a sperg is. He's just such a sperg. And if you haven't noticed that yet, you will notice that it takes him 2 weeks to make a response, and he's spurgy, and he won't show himself because he is a spurg. Trust me, I know these things. It's like begging the question. He was asking. It's a begging the question joke. Claire. We were using that as an example, Clarice, and then he freaked out and he said, "You doxed my daughter." I had no idea that it was like me. I used Jane the Sandwich Girl, and so some guy comes around and he goes, "Hey, Jane the Sandwich Girl is my daughter, and you doxed her." I'm like, dude, I just used a example of Clarice from Silence of the Lambs, this character that has no really original part that they put in there that was just sort of this bland female archetype character. But when people come around, let's talk about that. Like, if you're trying to keep your anonymity, don't self-dox yourself. Don't start telling about your life, and don't fall for things like that's how you can tell a sperg. When a sperg goes off and he starts so some guy makes a video about Jane, the sandwich girl, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, that was my ex-wife, Jane. She was a no. You're 1,500 miles away. There's no possible way I know Jane, the sandwich girl. That's your sister in France." You jackass. But when you do that, you start telling little bits and pieces of your life. When you do that, and you spurg out like that, and that's what he did. He spurged out because someone used something that was similar to his daughter's name, and he spurged. That's how when we first started to question: is this guy a spurg? Is Lazarus or is Messenger Rising a spurg? Because he doesn't show himself. He refuses to show himself. He started spurging out. It takes him 2 weeks to make a response to everything. Yeah, that's spurg-like characteristics. Even spurgs, some spurgs like Shangy, he's sharper than that. But don't tell on yourself. If you're trying to keep anonymity, you don't start taking offense and telling people that like you that's my daughter's name and you can't use it, and that because you're spurging out. You're just telling things that you shouldn't be telling if you're a spurged and you want to keep your anonymity, so people don't start asking questions about your spurgness. Like I said, I was going to do I had this young kid. He wanted to be a YouTube, and he's a YouTube producer, and he's every bit. If you move his milk in the morning, he'll just freak out and he chases ambulances because they're too loud. And he's like, but what he does is he does a great English voice, and he can do the English voice, and he does skepticism, and he makes funny memes, and he's on YouTube, and he makes money doing it. And the Social Security system loves it because he makes money doing. But in these things, he has to come up and he has to ask us, like, is this funny? Because he has no idea what funny is. Or is this sarcastic? And we'll go, yeah, that's sarcastic. And I won't tell his name because he's a great kid and everything. But he has probably 300,000 viewers on YouTube. And I just think it's the funniest thing, because I know if you move that kid's milk, if you move that kid's milk in the morning, he's going to freak out and throw his whole dinner off the table and shit. And it's like, no, I need my pudding cup. And then that's how we calm him down, by giving him a pudding cup, which is my pudding joke. But he's a big YouTuber, and I just laugh. I think it's the funniest thing. I won't dox him out and tell him and everything. So I know the spurg behaviors. And I know when Laz starts spurging out like that, and he's thinking that Joe, this guy from over in Ohio, that some small town in Ohio, is going to dox his daughter because a couple guys accidentally stumbled on her name, and then he spurged out about it. And what he did is he told on himself about it. And then now and I wanted to talk about that because in those situations, it gives you permission. Once you misinterpret, or you start telling on yourself, you start believing your lie. And it gives you permission at that point to start doing casual cruelty to that person or them persons that you think did something. But it was just you're not seeing things right, Laz. You're not seeing things right at all. And we're laughing hard. So that's the story behind that. And that's the Claire meme. If you ever heard around here, you're gonna hear the Clarice, like what were the lambs doing with their screaming, the totally insignificant value of her character. And then Laz mistaken that for his daughter or his wife or something, and said, well, I was gonna dox her. But in that, he told the name of his other. And I thought that was the funniest thing in the whole world. And that's when I realized that that guy's a sperg. Because it's thinking, man, you just go back and listen to some of those. It's always this really word. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to show that Riff. Hello, brother. Hello, Riff. How you doing? And now he's coming after me because that's what happens with these things. He believes that in his spurgy brain, he believes that he has a right to come after me now, and it'll give him like permission to like it'll give him. Not that I self dox. I don't really care. You ask me, I'll tell you where I live and everything. You come to my house if you want. So it gives him permission to start doing cruel little things, and that's what I was talking about the other day with the Krishna, with good and bad and evil. Who really is evil? Sometimes evil goes way out of bounds, and that's where these things start. They're starting from a misunderstanding on the internet of some spurg, and he's got his Ryan spurg, and you can see that Ryan spurg, the indispensable P guy spurg. He's totally autistic, and who would hang around with that autistic guy? That would be Laz. And they all pretend that they're something they're not on the internet. I know how this happens because I do have an autistic friend. He lives up here. He's a very, very interesting person. He's got 300,000 followers. And even his followers don't know that he's a spurg because he never shows himself. It's like that was one of the rules that I always thought like YouTube should just do. One of these things. You want to get rid of all the trolling and the spurgs, or you want to have it. If you want to get rid of all the trolling and the spurgs, you just demand that everybody gives a driver's license and an ID picture of themselves, and then you demand that if they're going to do news or the science of philosophy like I do, you show yourselves. And then half the people, they would kill YouTube because 72% of YouTube is actually spurgs. So that's why I like to show myself, because I can't take it no more. There was a certain point where it was totally illogical for me to be around these people that the only reason they don't show themselves is because, well, they're probably I love that drum. I didn't buy the stick, so I use a pen. Oh, I love that. I'm going to make an intro with my drum. And so that's that. And I wanted to explain that a little so everybody kind of knows how that went off and everything. And hello, Benjamin. Message retracted. No, say whatever you want. Benjamin, just say, Magnus, hello. I haven't seen you for a while. CJ and Riff, alcohol, drumming, and philosophy. I gotta put that up there. Alcohol, drumming, and philosophy. This thing's great. It makes that when it goes away sound. You can do the sweep too. I just love my drum. I'm going to make some raps, some beat raps, and then I'm going to rap. Yeah, Irish rap. You can just imagine this is going to go off well. It does have a great sound. I love that sound. I'm going to buy the mid-size one now too. So, it's going to be like I'm going to get the two mid-size ones, and then I'm going to get the big one, and then it's be like nobody in my neighborhood is going to be able to stand to come around my house anymore. That's my barang. I use it in a barang style, the Irish barang. They put it underneath their arm and they go like that. And then I don't know if you ever heard of an Irish barang. I'll bring the Guinness. Yeah, we got to get some Guinness. I'll bring my guitar in here. We can set up. I'll do the drum and the guitar. And man, we just have a blast. I miss doing that, like going around the guys. And there was no intention of doing anything but like just sitting around, and you got your guitars, and he's got his bass, and the guy's got his organ. You have no fucking clue what you're gonna do, and everybody's on a different page, and but it comes together, and you manage to figure out a song or two, and that's the greatest feeling in the whole world. It's like the garage band. I dream of my garage band days. But nowadays, I think I want to be the bongo player. And everybody fought about who was going to be able to play the bongos back in my day. It's like, no, you don't get to play. I get to play the bongos. I'm just going to buy the bongos now, and I'm going to be the bongo player because I deserve it in my life. Because I'm a Mgtow. I think Mgtows are the best bongo players too. It's like, man, look at that guy go. Play voodoo and Godsmack. Yeah. Voodoo Child on the, yeah. I'm gonna play Voodoo Child on the barang. That's like Johnny Midnight's joke about his theremin. He's gonna play Voodoo Child on the theremin. That's funny. That's just funny. It's like it's like, can you imagine theremin solo? Like I'm gonna have a barang solo. Christ. Yeah. Hey, when you're living in the absurd world, just grab yourself a little piece of the absurd and just go with it, because no one's going to know the difference. You know, if I walk down the street with my mask and my barang, no one would even notice, because they're 10 times as absurd out there. And I wanted to put that to a test. One of these nights, I'm just going to drive around on my little bike because it looks silly. And I just love it because it's out of the norm. And I'm going to put the mask on, get the barang, and put it, and just drive around my neighborhood to see if that arouses anybody. Because I'm sure in most cities in America, they'll go, oh, look, yeah, that was, and they'll be like, yeah, I've seen it before. Yeah, on my street, it was kind of normal. Eventually, during the summer, when people were dropping acid, when during the 80s and the 70s, you're going to eventually see someone running up and down the street naked with a katana. How that became a norm in my neighborhood at that time, I have no idea, but you're going to see it sometime during the summer, someone running around naked with a katana. We see those videos on YouTube once in a while. There's naked black guy with a katana out in the middle of the street. It's like, yeah, I can relate. Yeah, I've been there. But America's a weird place. It's just too weird. It's even too weird for me nowadays in my old age. I used to like the switch back and forth between the guitar and the drums, like was like a speedball. And yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to position this underneath my leg and then keep the guitar on top of it. You know, you bang the guitar to make the drum sound. And there's a lot of songs like Michael Jackson's. Some Michael Jackson songs you can do that, and the Billie Jean is one of them that you can boom 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 and hit the guitar and the pickups make a drum sound, and you could do that. And I was thinking, well, I could take that but I can't get my hand, or you know, it's really hard because I put the guitar on top of the drum, and then it dampens the drum, and then the guitar starts sliding sideways. But I'm going to figure it out. I think I gotta get it on a stand across from me, like so I could pull it up close, and then when I'm strumming, I could just hit it with my backstroke, which would be just really cool. The one-man band thing, how to figure out how to be a one-man band is just, there should be a course. There should be a course in that. And I've seen some really terrific. I was in where was I at? I was in Windsor, Canada, playing gambling once, and there was a one-man band at the Windsor, the MGM, and the Windsor MGM up there. He has a one-man band, and I was just sitting there watching him for like an hour, And he says, he finally says, no, you got to move in. You're not supposed to sit and watch. And I said, no, you're the best act in town. You're the best. He was the best because he had the drums, he had the cymbals on his feet. And then he had a drum in front of him, which he had the stomp pads on it. And then he had a harmonica, and he would keep it was a accordion behind his back. And then when they flips it around, it was like accordion or flip it around or guitar with the drums and cymbals on. And he kept cymbals on his toes, mounted to his feet. So he could do that too. And he just put together a really terrific sound. And man, if there's a heaven, that guy's going there because it's like he was doing all the songs. That's what I wanted to try. But, you have to be like ambidextrous and a person that can think like in several different ways to do that. I don't know what kind of person that takes. But the one-man band is a curiosity to me. Kissing says pandemics will forever change the world order. Kissinger said, is Kissinger still alive? I haven't even checked on that lately. I wonder that, or maybe he said that before. He probably said that before. I don't think he's alive. I'm not sure. He was old back then. You know what I was looking? You know what shocked me? The other day we got nothing to do but sit around and watch, like, get shit sent to us and who they send to us. There was that lady from MPC, the National Broadcasting in America, Amy Goodman. And I remember Amy Goodman when I was like 20 years old on NPC, the national, and I'm looking at her and thinking, she ain't changed like one little bit. Is this woman like 160 years old? Go check it out. Amy Goodman from NPC. It's like that woman has to be like 160 at least 160. I remember when I was a kid. Oh, Jesus. 2-foot drum. Yeah, 2-foot kick drum. Oh, I love it. I'd love to get a kick drum. I wanted one of those just, you got the big puffy ball on a stick and then the really huge drum. I wanted to get one of those too and just kind of put it over here because it's so cool. You just like, wham, just wham it. Like Radioactive, the guy in Radioactive, when he does Radioactive, he's got the boom, and he just hits that drum with that big stick, and it's like, I can't remember. It is Radioactive. Drumsticks, that big fluffy ball or something. I can't remember. It's probably made out of leather. But I want one of those so bad. I was like looking at that guy playing the Radioactive song, and not the early Radioactive, the new Radioactive. I can't remember who sings that, but he does a great job with that drum, and he just kind of runs. He's singing, and he runs up, and he, boom, boom, beating on the drum. So I just love it. It's just, yeah. So it's Friday night, and we're talking about what is normative, I guess. What is normative in these times, in these days? I don't know anymore. And for sure that I know that the normies don't look normative now. And so that questions everything about them. And it makes me stop to think the park wasn't normal. My favorite convenience store with the two Eastern Indian guys in there that I just love. It's not normative anymore in there. All my stores are people are acting weird, and the streets even. It's like people are out walking around the streets, and that used to be one of my biggest complaints in this neighborhood. It's like nobody knows everybody, but lately. So there's something good that's happening here too. People are getting crammed up in the house. They're sick of talking on the internet and talking to their buddies and watching movies. And you can only do that for so long. And every Mgtow knows that you shouldn't do that for any time, really. Grab a book, and none of them want to read, so they're out walking around the neighborhood. in little family groups lately, and I've been just sitting on my porch or when I'm riding my bike, I'm observing them, and I'm observing them in my park. Where I'm observing their behaviors, and it's really, really strange lately. And so many things are changing, and some of them are for the good. You're like, I'm just, they probably never seen me before. It's like, hey, that guy, how long? And I ride around every day and wave to everybody I see. It's like, hey, Mrs. Jones, hey, Clark. You know, beautiful flowers, Harriet. I do shit like that just to be a smart ass. And I know it's just because it's funny. It's just funny, and um, yeah, but they're actually out there doing the same thing nowadays. Now the family units, but you're not allowed to get too close to them. It's like they. I think the fathers or these things that they call fathers, like they'll be real protective. They grab their family unit, like don't get close, coronavirus commuter. It's like they're going to be eventually. There's going to be violence. Like you touched my daughter. you Son of a bitch. It's going to get good this summer. And I can't wait because I'm the Mgtow bench guy. I just sit there and I watch and I laugh. And I usually have like a flask. It's like, drink a little bit. It's like, oh, here comes some real jackasses. But yeah, it's going to get good. And it's the springtime. But always, there's going to be that Friday, that 72 degrees, that's sunny. And the sun stays out longer. And then all the normies are going to start acting like jackasses, and then it's gonna be popping. There's going to be sirens and gunshots and fist fighting and normal protecting their girlfriend fish fighting, and it's like I get to watch the whole thing, and you do too as a Mgtow, and that's the great thing about this thing. You get to watch it. All of its horror and splendor. Drums can be very powerful, psychedelic, and many other psychedelics back in the 70s. I don't think they get psychedelics anymore like we got back in the 70s. No, naked hippie drum girl things and around a fire. Whew. For you youngsters that never got to participating in a drum line around a fire with naked hippie girls when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you missed everything. I don't think they do it anymore. But whew. Yes, it was that good. So this whole world is everybody's so uptight nowadays too, and I think that's the product of the sperg uptightness. There's this sort of sperg uptightness that every normative is too normative now, and if you're a unique person, or if you decide to go your own way, if you don't like do sexually what they do, or if you don't think like they do, if you're an upper thinker or you're a critical thinker, they'll actually call you. It's like we can see it in the government now. It's like those scientists don't know what they're talking about. It's like, no, those are the critical thinkers. They're trying to critically think through this thing, and they're like, we don't trust. We'd rather trust Jesus. Now that is funny. That'll get you killed. That'll get you killed. Rather trusting Jesus over scientists. And wow. Yeah. What's his name? Farwell. He was going to go have this church thing, and no one could tell him that Jesus wasn't going to save him from this, and half of his parish was going to have coronavirus in a week if you put all those people in a room. And he was like, no, because I believes. And it exposed Christianity too for the ass-tards that they are. That I've been saying that these people are total maniac ass-tards for for years now, and no one's been listening. Now that coronavirus comes around and steals my shtick, coronavirus still stole my shtick, and everybody's like, well, look at those astards. Christians are astards, for sure. Look what they're doing. I mean, we had the example in Korea that we learned from. We were supposed to learn from that. The mega church in Korea. We were supposed to learn from that. No, Jerry Falwell thought that was something that he would emulate. Oh, son of a woo! The absurd stupidity of Christians never it just never in a million years I'm still entertained by it because them guys are just weird, but they're allowed to do what they do. I'm not saying that you just go over in your little drum circle over there and sing Jesus rows the boat home and stuff like that. You can even have a little drum if you want and play them games with believing in metaphysical dictators of the universe, and that's it. You just do it in your own circle. Don't come into my drum circle. I like my drum, and I like my drum circle, and that's Mgtow, and we don't believe in stupid shit around here. Live in Sperg. Spergberg. Arms of store. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're just man, it's like I didn't pick where my father moved. It's like, damn. I didn't get to pick that, so you're living in Spergberg and you just got to deal with it. Try not to blend in. That's what I'm telling you. Everybody go, no, Joe, blend in. And I'm no, try not to blend in. Make yourself a spectacle because, I mean, those people need to be changed. There needs to be some environmental change in Spergberg. Spergberg, America. And I think they are getting the environmental change that they need now. I hope it goes on because I'm just having a blast with coronavirus. And it's like, I mean, I hope it doesn't kill me because I'm a smoker and I'm old and shit. I hope I don't actually get it. That would be that would be horrible. But I would keep you abreast to what I was doing, how I was dying. I would just make videos of it all the way to my death if I got it. That'd be great. Video vlog my death. Hello, Rob C. How are you? We're talking about what is normative today. I don't know if you've been around. Damn, that's a lot of downvotes. Oh, my Sperg buddy Lazar's around, and his little Sperg army warrior Ryan, I suppose. They don't know that I have analytics where I can go check and see where people. It's like, oh no, it's okay. Yeah, unlike most people, I have figured out how to use the analytics to tell who's downvoting me. It comes from London, some guy that has got 11. He's got 9 on a laptop. He's got 9 avatars on a laptop in London. I guess wonder who that is. Son of a bitch. Yeah, so I got a lot of downvotes today. I was talking about Jessica Valente earlier. Maybe that was it too. It's like you were mentioning a feminist and not a bad light. Because we do go through similar stuff in Mgtow, the groups, and that's what I just see. All I do is I see group dynamics and I see the groups and I watch for behaviors and I try to do my own Mgtow thing. But in this thing, it's like you're not allowed to be your Mgtow by what they consider norm. You're considered extreme, and you're not allowed to do your thing now. And I think that was the point that I was trying to get around to eventually here. That in their normativity, that you're not allowed to do your thing. So they're restricting your idea of Mgtow or your idea of religion or your idea of anything because they don't consider it normative. And that's like, that's horrible. I mean, that's horrible. And, but that's what Mgtow gets. Like, you guys are extreme. It's like, oh, why? Because I don't believe in fathers. It's a made up thing. I'm never going to get pregnant. I can't get pregnant. Fatherhood's bullshit. And I can explain to you in 10 different ways, scientifically, how it is bullshit, but they won't even listen to that. Laugh out loud, bro. Oh, good to see. Good to see all my friends around. It's a weird day. It's weird times around here, and it's just been a weird place. I don't get no push anymore. They grayed out my push on my distribution. So I was going to use the other channel, and I decided, nah, I'll just use this channel. Fuck it. Screw it. I'll just wait for them. Why they grayed out my distribution, I don't know. That's like, I guess somebody had to get grayed out, and it was me because I got a big mouth. I don't say what they want to say. What I speak of is not normative, I suppose. And we deal with this in YouTube too. What we speak of is not normative to them, and they're allowed to censor you. Then it gives them permission. That's why I gave my story earlier about the person that told on himself, and it gives them permission to if you're not normative in their opinion, it gives you them permission to censor you, to break the law. So, can America get any weirder? That's the big question that some people should start asking. I mean, I don't know if you ever been downtown Cleveland or downtown Chicago or downtown on a Friday night when the first can America get any weirder? It's like the weirdness and the just absurdity of the way people think is just it's tremendously funny too. It is. It's so tremendously funny when I go out there, and you can see me. People think I'm smiling because I'm on my bike generally, and I am generally smiling because I'm on my bike. But there's a certain absurdity when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the people doing what they're doing, and they're just look all miserable, and I'm just smiling, thinking, Jesus, wow. It's like I don't want to. I'm so glad I don't live in that no more. The husband and wives fighting in the parking lot of the local Save-A-Lot store. And I see that all the time. I seen it, like, where did I see it? I seen it at the gas station. I seen it at the Walgreens, and then I seen it at the Saving Lot within a week. So you can't tell me that this isn't a common observation. I think I seen it a while ago. Oh yeah, and me and my buddy were noticing it at the Walmart. The lady was getting out of the car. She was just giving her husband like just a hard time, and we were like, boy, she's really digging on him. It's like, man, it's like, yeah, that's what they do. That's what they're supposed. He's such a simp. And I tried to explain to my buddy that I was with at that time. He's such a simp. He's going to take that. Why is he taking that? He's taking that because he got the split V there, and he gets the hammer on that later and degrade her. Traditional thinking. That's a beautiful traditional life because that's what I want to do, get yelled at all day so I can sexually aggressively take it out on her later. Christ, them people are retarded. But that's what they do. And it's normal too. And they can't say it's not. I don't see it. Oh man, Joe, where'd you make that observation? I made that observation 4 times in the last 2 weeks. And I know every single guy in here has probably made the same observation. Son of a bitch. TP, yeah, the TP and sanitizer. I bought two big rolls, and I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start going to the like Kmart, the bathrooms where they got the real big rolls, and I'm just gonna steal them. Probably, you know what the best place to steal your toilet paper from would be? Like the Starbucks, the ladies' room in Starbucks, the women's room. You go to the chicken fillet and like steal their toilet paper. Because that would be a fucking Mgtow statement. You just write, Mgtow was here and I stole your toilet paper. I want all my all of Mgtow, go out there and just steal the toilet paper from like everywhere you can, and it just like put an M there, like Mgtow. Son of a bitch. That would be funny. That would be really funny. And I think I'm going to do that this week. Next time we go to the Starbucks and we stop for coffee, I'm just going to go into the ladies' bathroom and just pee on the urinal, just pee on that seat, and then steal the toilet paper. Right, Mgtow is here on the wall. Nothing projects fear like that. They'll walk in, it'll be like, there's like three things: no toilet paper, pee on the toilet, and Mgtow was here on the wall. They'll run out screaming. Oh, some Mgtow might do that tonight too. I would do it if I was out. I would swear to God, I got that thought. I'm so impulsive too. It's like, okay, I gotta move in for the kill here. I'm going to the John at the Kmart. I'm going to pee on all the urinals, or pee on all the toilets, and steal the toilet paper. CJ, traversal philosophy. Do you think clothes are religion, are borders, taboos, money, all religion to you is impossible? It is impossible to be an. No, it's very possible to be an atheist. I know we go about back on this. It's like back and forth, CJ. I hope you respect my opinion like I respect yours as a Mgtow. But no, religiosity in the Christian form of religiosity has moved into a lot of things. It moves into our language. It removes into our garb. It goes into our politics. It is in one place it really shouldn't be, as it should be separated from the state. There's a separation of state and church, but when we look, and we've brought marriage, which is a very religious thing, into our politics and into our and that's what's causing the gender dynamics war, because some people, Jerry Falwell and the religious right, will not respect our opinion, not to believe in a superior entity to ourselves, and it's going to come down from the sky and rain hell on us and make our lives miserable. And then in that, there's a lesson. There's no lesson in that. That's just what we call nature, and nature is cruel and will have stress. But we're all allowed to have our opinion on that, and you're allowed. I don't kick anybody out that has a religious opinion, and it's just you're allowed to do that. But respect. What I'm saying with these things is respect my right not to have. There's two things in the Constitution that goes both ways. It says we have a right to have any religion we want to have, and you can have any religion you want, but you have a right not to have any religion you don't want to have too. No one could force a religion on you. But I see, school prayer. I see school prayer, and it's like, no, you can't force that on them little kids and make them pray to Jesus, and no, that's not the society that we intended here. Right, Druid, you have the right from religion too. They can't take you and force you into like religious schools and make you believe that. But they do that. They do that in how our society is set up. It's like marriage. Marriage is one of the biggest, and that's what us Mgtows talk about. Is one of the biggest religious things that they do to us. And if you wanna, if you wanna do conspiracy theories and this Illuminati and that stuff, and that's a very Latin thing, Illuminati. Uh, you don't have to do anything but walk out your door and see the social pressure that the religious community will put you in your community. They will try to drive you out of in Ohio here. If they find out that you are an atheist or you don't believe in their religion, they will drive you from your community. I've had several experiences this was when I lived out in Portage around Kent, out that way. And then I moved out here because we experienced some religious freedom from out here. But man, they were going to drive me from that community. we had a very interesting church right down the street too. It was the Church of Jesus. That's the Skinheads Church. You know, the Skinheads. Now I used to like to watch that in the morning. I would go in the parking lot. I'd get a 12-pack in the morning. I used to sit there and watch the skinheads go into the Church of Jesus Christ there in Portage County, and they were doing their skinhead shit, and I was like, oh, that's so great. And then they'd fight out in the parking lot. I used to like after they'd all clear out, I'd drink my couple of beers, whatever I was drinking, and go over and I'd urinate in their parking lot. You got to find your kick somewhere. I mean, but that's where that goes too. If you don't, it usually goes to nationalities and nationalism, and then you get to the collective, and then it's like wow, can I have my opinion? If I did have a God too, what would my opinion of God be? And I'm allowed to have my opinion of God. My opinion of God would be he'd be more. He's not a pussy. Yes, my God is not a pussy. He's righteous, and he's more like Buddha, which you can't ask the Buddha about whether killing people are right and wrong because he's indifferent to it. He's so indifferent to it. If you ever read that stuff. And understood it. Actually, Hinduism and Buddhism is very philosophically correct. The Buddha, you can't ask him because he's indifferent to these things of us. Krishna was indifferent to these things. So you couldn't ask him about it because it could possibly not be that they were influenced by human things. So the Bible in itself tells on itself in that would God be influenced by personal beliefs or these questions? No, he wouldn't be influenced by them because he couldn't even think about them, because in that thought, which he tells you are your sins, in that thought, he would be sinning, and God couldn't sin. That's why the Buddha is the Buddha. He's indifferent to all your, he's indifferent to it. So my God would be like Thor and Buddha put together, I guess, and that's not going to happen. But Thor would be really indifferent to the world. He'd be like, he wouldn't need a sword. He would figure out that, no, I don't have those thoughts of those impure things. So there's hypocrisy in the whole thing too. When you start thinking about it in that way, there's hypocrisy in what your God would be. Now that's Buchananism is what it's called. Buchanan was Hitler's priest, which is just so freaking funny. But Buchanan was a philosopher too, and he was Hitler's priest, and he believed in the God of your own understanding. But some people have like really, really bizarre, can you imagine the God of your own understanding if you're hillbillies living in Appalachia, or Appalachians? I'm sorry, you can't say hillbillies. That's politically incorrect. Appalachians living in the Appalachian Mountains, like cut off from all society for 100 years, where they're mating with their cousins, and they're producing little balls of violence and spergiosity, we'll call it. And you give these people the right to have a have a God of their own understanding. Now we can see some of the what's left standing in some of those incidences in some of those areas. The Isle of Man was a good. You can see the wooden things that they built in the effigies to they would burn people on the Isle of Man. They'd burn have the human sacrifice, and that's what's when religion is left to your own choice and sometimes and but your society suffers by some environmental factors. It gets really interesting. I mean, we could see this in Easter Island and everything. And I say, it's most of that's the one thing you can look at Easter Island. Let's look at the gods of Easter Island. They were the bird gods, and it's not like I don't know about these things. And the gods of Easter Island, they were bird gods, and and they were cut off from all other facets of humanity everywhere. So it wasn't Jewish, it wasn't Christian, it wasn't in that we can see all people have this desire to have something greater than themselves that protects them. And it's a nice thought because man, it's a cruel world and we're surfing on platelets of land surfing across molten steel moving through the universe at 68,000 miles an hour while our universe is just plummeting across the universe at 160,000 miles an hour, and there's a big ball of glowing whatever it is metal just a couple million miles away from us, and it just can explode at any time. That's a horrible thought. And I mean, so we have a desire to have something greater than ourselves that would protect us because we are fleshy, weak creatures that would be cut in half if a piece of that bridge right back there would just fling out at us. We'd just be cut in half, and in your own humanity would be in question in those last seconds of your life. I know, I know, it's also hard. But, you know, these are philosophical questions that we have to ask ourselves. Uh, I really don't like to get into the metaphysics of things, but naturalism and those things. But man, it's also bizarre sometimes. It's like these crazy ideas, the bird gods of Easter Island, and we could look over in Brazil and some of the crazy in Africa, it's like cannibalism, and we can look at wow, there's been some crazy thoughts over the centuries, and not so much removed by time as a million years. It was like just removed from 100 years ago, and I mean, just 30 years ago, we nurses were running around in hospitals sticking their fingers in babies' mouths and killing them from the bacteria because they had no idea 30 years ago our hospitals like didn't have gloves or hand sanitizer there. Jesus. I mean, what was this paradigm that changed recently? The science of philosophy, I guess, postmodernism. People starting asking questions about what's the true nature of our world. And that's where you're going to get scientific revelations about nature and those things. And I think therefore I am. Yes, kicking guard. Is that kicking guard? Yeah, that's kicking guard. I think therefore I am. And that says a lot about our brains. There's two brains. I think therefore I am. I am. Which side is the I am, and which side says I think? A lot of interesting questions in that. I did a book a while ago about that. The question itself is like the duality of human brain. You have this animal brain that's on top of the spinal column. It's that And then we have this other brain that seems to be attached to it. And the idea is, if you take it back into we used to be floating brains floating around in the water. It's like it would be Precambrian, and then we were like just little floating brains floating around the water, and then we became these brains, and then something attached to that brain, another brain, maybe, I don't know. We have a cognitive dissonance inside of ourselves, something that keeps our heart functions going, and tells you when you're hungry and makes you do this without thinking about it, and then you have your other brain, that's the thing that was floating around in the water. It's like, wow, that's interesting shit. Yeah, it's, who cares, it's, no matter what I learn about this world, I'm going to die, and I'm going to take that with me. Unless I write it down like Darwin did. Yee. Yeah, yee. So it's a Friday night in the pandemic era. Friday night where nobody's allowed out of their houses. And there's a new paradigm that seems. Someone told me it was a new paradigm the other day. I was like, there's a new paradigm on us. And I was like, I don't know if this qualifies. Rob, do you think this qualifies as a new paradigm? I don't know if it qualifies as a new paradigm. Depends what evil people do during these kind of times. Depends what change comes around. Something about critical. What's the science of big things. There's this society, and but little things affects those big things, and I can't remember what it's called right now. But like the stock market or countries, or it depends what happens. And sometimes really small things influence it, and like right now, coronavirus with the stock market compared to corona, where is that connection in between? There's a connection there. There's fear. It's like, wow. I'm hoping for the best, but yeah, should be interesting, at least for us Mgtows. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, I'm not participating in the family unit, and all in all, I'm kind of hoping for it to go a little farther so I can just watch it. And yeah, complex environments or complex things. That's what I was trying to think about. Complex theories, complex. It's been a long time since I took that course. Complex. But yeah, so we get to look at that stuff, and now, and you should be thankful. We should be thankful that we're Mgtow. We can look at it from the sort of third person party observer view, the alien view. We're not in this. We're not participating in this human arms race of of breeding. We're not participating in that thing no more, and thank God. Thank God about that. Yeah, if that Bible is true, and that go out and it's filled, buddy. Whatever you got planned, it's filled. The four corners of the that's pretty funny too. The four corners of the world. That's what they thought at that time. I would probably suggest that God would know the difference. I think they tried to change that passage in the Bible too because it was so absurd. Observe, don't absorb. Yeah, don't absorb it. Just observe it because it's funny. It really is. If you can't see the humor in the things that are going on today, and I think that's the greatest quality of like the human being. I mean, we can look at just something really absurd and just horrific happening in front of you, and you just get a big smile on your face, and it's like, look how those jackasses are acting. I mean, it's absurd. I guess there was some guy back in Germany, and he probably got killed or something because he was just sitting on his Mgtow bench, and all that shit started popping off, and he was like, "Oh wow, look at this! This I'm just gonna sit here and watch." I would have to look for that book. There's Kipler. He was quite observant at that time, and but yeah. So that's the nickel plate right there, right up there. That's the nickel plate railroad, right there, up there. Interesting. If you ever go down there, they got the nickel plate railroad that runs through Cleveland, and it's those old railroad things that have like the bridges and the old stuff, and it was like really interesting looking. They're trying to preserve that. I like to go down that hill right there in the back and just go down and just like look at the whole thing from out of the city, and just wow, look what they did. Hi, there's U.S. 200,000 effective. Seems what does that say? Seems you have fun over there. Yeah, yeah, we have 200,000. I don't know if that's 200,000 effective or 200,000 been infected. And there's a difference between that. I mean, my stats would look totally different from their stats. It's like, yeah, there might have been 200,000 people that have been affected, but we're going 1, 2. We're on our third, coming up on our fourth month of this thing. So it lasts 2 weeks. It's like they're just doing the hyperbolic. There's 200,000 people infected. 3,000 people are going to die this year from falling down steps. More people are going to die from self-inflicted gunshot wounds in America. What else is a good one? There's going to be number one, chainsaw accidents. More people are going to die from chainsaw accidents. When you start putting it in that light, the flu has killed 10 times that amount. Yes, the flu. You start putting it in that light, and you see the hyperbole in the whole thing. It starts becoming funny. Now we could do the expectations of steps too. We'll do that, and then like 3,000 people this year, and for the last 30 years or so have fallen down steps and died, and that's 3,000 times 30 now. That's 90,000 people have died and have fallen down steps. So we got to regulate against steps. How can we do this? Hello, Hetty Lukey. Hello, Jude. Oh no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could do that with about everything there is, because the human condition is totally that we're all gonna die too. And we put into consideration of that fact, uh, you know, 100% of the population is going to die. So that's the big fact. That was the thing that Stalin was talking about. If one person's tragedy is observed, and the death of a millions is just a statistic. That that's funny. I mean, that's funny. Stalin had a sense of humor about that when he said that, huh? So I think we're dealing with that in a little coronavirus too. We've had 3,000 deaths, but it was a tenth of the deaths of flus. We had 30,000 people die of flu before December of of last year, from September to, because of the flu season during that time, and nobody flinched. Nobody flinched. I think if I look at the summer average of people that have chainsaw accidents, like the guy on the limb cutting the limb from the wrong side and he falls, or a branch. I think the big concern last year was tree branches in the park falling and killing people. But if we look down through, we can do the hyperbolic stats on that and like permit people from standing under trees. But that all rolls into the same cause, like I was saying, like 100% of us are going to die. I mean, that's a good one to start working on. Like 100% of us are going to die. How can we chip that down to like maybe 95% of us that will die and the rest of us get to be immortal? I think that's what we should be working on. Oh, well, until we get rid of Christianity, I'll blame it on Christianity too. I just love blaming everything on Christianity. It's like them damn scientists are so scientific-y. I don't understand them. They do the classic, I don't understand them, so it must be wrong, because what they're really saying is they don't understand, so the world is wrong. That's such a bizarre statement too. I see that on YouTube all the time. Traversable, I don't understand you, so you must be wrong. No, you're jackass. You're a jackass. Learn how to just read a book. Just because you don't understand the book doesn't mean the book's wrong or the author's wrong. Just because you don't, it means that you're stupid. But you're not allowed to say. You're not allowed to say that. Shh. You're not allowed to say that to people anymore. Like, you don't understand, do you? No, they don't. I found out an interesting statistic the other day, and it's kind of freaked me out a little because I didn't know it. And my favorite artist, one of my favorite artists, and one of my favorite songs is Robert Palmer. I love Robert Palmer. I think the guy was the coolest thing ever to walk the planet. And he's just Robert Palmer when he does. I didn't mean to turn you on, for example. It's very Mgtow. He's like, I took you out, and I didn't mean to turn. I don't want to have sex with you, and I'm not. As a male, I have that choice too. But she's saying, no, you don't have a choice. You have to have sex with me. And he's like, no, I don't. Robert Palmer was probably the first Mgtow. And Robert Palmer smoked 60 cigarettes a day. I mean, that's crystal smooth voice of his, and that he smoked 60 cigarettes a day, and he died at 54 of heart disease. And I thought, oh, man, that's so weird. The guy, he was obviously an alpha male. He had everything. He was good looking. He was rich. He could have had any girl he wanted. Someone's knocking at my door. I'm going to have to escape through the hatch here, give you guys a break right away. And That's funny. Hello, sorry about it. Hello, Bruce Boy. Sorry about that. The neighbor came over and he wanted to borrow a few cigarettes, and so I gave him a few smokes. And it's Friday night. It's Friday night, and yeah, I love it how I come through the background. I could just move the city over and just walk through the cityscape. I love that. Now that's a true God. I just moved the cityscape over and just moved. I walked right through it. Did you stay 6 feet away, Joe? Yeah, we. I had to hand him the cigarettes from a stick. It's like, yeah, that's a. And that would be a good idea. I could put the cigarette depositor out the door, and it's like you just Joe, can I borrow a smoke? I just deposit them through a glass tube out the door, the pneumatic tubes. I love those things. I wasn't going to get one of those in my other house and put one through the attic and out the other side so I could send myself sandwiches. But I never put it in because I started looking at used ones and they were like really expensive. I was like, son of a bitch. They're really expensive. And so if you want to send yourself sandwiches in the pneumatic tube to the other room in a pill capsule, it's going to be really expensive, but it might be worth it. I still dream about that. Like I could just make a sandwich in the kitchen, put it in a pneumatic tube, put it in, and it goes over, and I sit down, and it comes back down, and it's just like I open it up, and my sandwich is in the tube, and I didn't have to carry it. That would be the ultimate lazy American. And then it just comes down right at my lazy boy, and then like I pop a beer, and I have a sandwich sent to myself that I sent to myself from a pneumatic tube. I want a 3D printing pickles on your salad, on your sandwich. That'd be cool. 3D printing. That's what they're doing. That's the idea. It's not so much like bizarre the food replicators in Star Trek. It's like, when are we going to get those things, the food replicators? And it's just like, hey, I want a tuna and some brie, and it just 3D prints it. And that's what that would be. You're taking a carbon. I think the idea is simple. You're taking carbon and you're storing carbon, and you're adding proteins and essentials to the carbon in a certain way, and then you 3D print it, and it becomes a sandwich. That would be cool. Ice cubes on demand, on your lazy boy too. I just thought what Mgtows really need is like lazy boys that have wheels, and you have like a cooler and like a beer holder and a beer cooler, and it comes with a telephone, and the whole lazy boy, and it's on wheels, so you can just run up to the store on your lazy boy, and then you just get what you want and you run back, and then like that would just be a lazy boy on wheels with a cooler. That's real Mgtow shit. Someday we'll see it. What was that movie? This cartoon. It was a space movie, and it's like the really fat people were like riding around in their lazy boys on wheels and just having things done for them. They lived up in space because they ruined the world with trash. I can't remember what the name of that movie was. Someone can make an idea of a wall, build it. It's just your free will. Yeah. So it's Friday. We're just sitting around, just shooting the shit now. The original idea of the podcast was something totally normative. What was normative? What was considered unnormative? Why are we held to the normative standards of the absurd? When we look over, it was like, these people are absurd and they have these normative standards. And we're supposed to, us Mgtows are just supposed to like, Wall-E, that was it. Yeah, Wall-E. That was a great movie. I love that movie. R.I.P. Claire. Hello, Pockets. Hello, Claire. I explained the Claire thing today in full detail. It's a joke, a running joke with us that it's the begging the question joke. When you beg the question about something, you how he did that is like, you doxed my daughter. It's like, no, we were just talking about Clarice from Silence of the Lamb. We didn't dox your daughter. Which brought on other things, which, it's like told us that Laz is a sperg. It's like, why would you think that? Why would you even think that? And that was the question. The Clarice, Clarice, she was this totally inept. The whole idea of Clarice and the Silence of the Lambs, that the person, that thing was just like, why was she even in that movie? What's a libertarian free will? What is libertarian free will? That's a good question. What is libertarian free will? I was just reading about that the other day, the free will from different perspectives. And I think it all hinges on the idea of free will. Do we really have? Yeah, we do. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, my moderator is in the house, and he's promised that he's not gonna delete stuff anymore. You know what, the whole idea, Pockets knows that the whole idea of the the 300-second timeout is like, if you can't take a 300-second timeout in Mgtow, maybe you're not a Mgtow. Because you're going to get around here. I mean, can you imagine what I've gone through in the last 10 years saying stuff like I say, in the last 20 years saying stuff like, if I was that triggery and that sensitive, that I was just going to like spurg out and like say, oh, you guys are right. And if I was that triggery, I would have never made it as a Mgtow. I really wouldn't. My Mgtow career would have been over like years ago, because like Lazarus, he spurged out on Mgtow. He couldn't take it when we got to these uncomfortable truths. That was what I call them, about female nature and about male nature too. And that's usually what it is. It's about the uncomfortable truths of male nature and why we do our introspections. And it's like, why I'm not out there just hitting it and quitting it. Why am I not out there doing what they want me to do? Because I don't believe that we should be treating girls like whores. Traditional people, Christian traditional people, what they do is they want a angel in the daytime and they want a devil in the nighttime, where they could just use her as a penis pocket. And that tells us about the dark side of human nature. And Mgtows, we've just transcended above that. I don't do that to people. I don't want to do that to people. I don't put people in them situations where I demand slavery from them, like at least sexual slavery at night, so they could demand like work slavery out of me during the day. It's so absurd. Our society is so absurd. And that's what they're doing, the traditional lights. Like, every time I hear that argument, like, why won't the girls do what we want? It's like, I'm thinking, you just want a penis pocket at night so you can just plow that and abuse it. And then during the day, you got to go to work and make the money so you can bring it home and make her happy. And that's the trade-off. It's like, no wonder that story of Mary and Joseph was so horrible. It's like, there's only two possibilities. She cheated on him or she got raped. And they made up a whole new feature of humanity. Son of a wow. Because she couldn't admit that she was probably screwing around. Joseph, poor Joseph. Can you imagine being in that kind of thinking? And we're talking about free will now. We're talking about the free will, like we're talking about that thinking, like free will. We're talking about Mary and Joseph. What was it like to be Joseph and know that wasn't your child, and you're going to raise it? You're going to be a slave to this thing that left you with a child to a cheating whore. So obviously, the hero in our story was Joseph. He was like, dude, I'll just believe something that's not true. And that's where that final fictionalism comes in. It's like instead of like running away, he believed, and our whole world acts like that now. Our whole world, and the world emulates religion now, and it gives us a convenient out for our thinking when really the obvious was like, why'd you cheat on me, Sue? Why'd you do it? It's like she doesn't know because she's a cryptic being. So if we start sub-dissecting these stories and their absurdity, I mean, it just comes out to just basic garbage. Any phenomenal subjective experience is an objective. Well, it's objective in the way you believe it. See, Harris used, I believe, something. Yeah, I think I hit a few sore spots when I talk about Joseph and Mary too. That's like, that, I mean, they don't like to hear that unfriendly. That's one of those unfriendly truths that us atheists say. If they heard me out there in my neighborhood, they would like, oh man, they would kick me out and they would do horrible things to me. That would give them the excuse, and that's why I was talking about that begging the question thing. When you beg the question about yourself, and then that just gives them the delusion, gives you the excuse to dehumanitize other people, and then they would kick me out of my neighborhood, and they would ostracize me. You know, they would throw their shards. Ostracization is when you throw your shards in the pot, and you remove them from the society because the unfriendly truth. They did that to Socrates. Killed him because the unfriendly truth was too much for them to take. And but we've been doing that a lot in our society, and mostly Christians will do that. And I was raised in a very Christian area of Ohio, back towards Portage and that way, and I've seen how it ran the community. It just, the school was filled with it, and I had to believe, or they would start doing awful things. You weren't going to go to college, and you weren't going to be efficient in this lifetime, or we would not teach you, and the horrible things they would say. I had one nun tell me that I had my appendix out when I was a kid. This is probably my first doubtfulness of God. And the nun was teaching us at CCD, which is catechism. We're going through them courses, and all the other kids were out playing, and us Christian kids had to go to CCD, and I had my appendix out because I was going to die. And when I got back, she was like, "You can't be in this class no more because you're missing your body part, and now you can't go into heaven." My dad just, oh man, he ripped into her. They got her fired, and then all the kids were looking at me. You got Mrs. Jones fired, and it's like, yeah, I'm a dick. That's the way I am about those things. And you told a little kid, I was 8 years old or something, I was in pain. It's like, you're not going to heaven. You're not the same as the perfect kids. And that's the idea that I talk about, like, you're not good enough. Nothing in Christianity. It's like you're never good enough to be as good as Jesus or John Galt or those, that other guy. And the fountainhead. You're never going to be that good, and you never can aspire to be that good. So you're always going to be chasing the dragon. You're going to be chasing this am I good enough thing. And then women do that to us. You're never going to be good enough for a woman. In the Christian traditional relationship thing, you're never going to be good enough for her. Where does that come from? That comes from the environment, the religious environment that we're all raised in. Like, you're never going to be good enough. So Mgtow and men's rights is just a rejection of that bullshit. It's like, you're never going to be good enough. No, you are good enough. That's what I'm saying. As a matter of fact, you're the best thing that ever walked on this planet. You're the alpha. You are the omega. You are that. You are God. You're the apex predator on this planet. You built those things. But they'll keep telling you you're not good enough. And you should be subservient. Subservient to who? When it comes to the question of mental phenomena, I believe, okay, there's the last independent between physical and the mental would be constrained by our physical. Yeah. Well, our mental capacities would be, it's our capacity. You have the capacity up to this point. Different people have different capacities, and it becomes subjective in a certain way because we have different capacities to think about these things. So I'm slowing down. I'm gonna order a pizza tonight, I think. Pizza Hut's been running a special, a coronavirus special, where I can get 50% off a pizza. Obviously, it's government funded, but I'll take it. I suppose they're going to deliver a pizza for 50% off, but only if it's a family. Which I wasn't going to do it because it was like subjective to the family. It was like I can order the pizza deal if I got 2 pizzas, a salad, and then like 2 liter of pop. And I'm thinking, well, I could feed the pizza and eat the salad over the next few days, and then like put the pop in the refrigerator, and then if I do it, but I gotta say I have a family, so I'm lying to them. And it's like Pizza Hut's going to deliver like these beautiful pizzas probably for half price to me because I have a family. It's like totally ostracizing or the single male from this thing. It was like, I thought that was so offensive. It's like, if you're single, you can't have like the family pack of pizza from Pizza Hut. It's like, that so sucks, man. And that's what's wrong with our society. That's a micro of the whole society. It's like single people got to take this on their back, and they can't enjoy the tax benefits and the benefits that come along with just being alive, and inequality and that stuff. But I think I'm going to do that tonight. I'm just going to like tell them like I got a family. It is offensive, isn't it? And then I'm going to use that 50% discount. And I was like, kids, the pizzas are here, and there's this great pizza delivery guy. And I'll make a little act and like, thank you for delivering my family the pizza. And then it's just fat ass me. And I'm taking advantage of the family deal at Pizza Hut. So I think that sometime this week, I'm going to go down to Pizza Hut and like pee in the girls' john and just pee all over their seat and just steal the toilet paper because they offend me so much. And that's what we could do. As Mgtows, that's what we do. It's like I'm at Pizza Hut sometime this week. I'm going to ride there on my bike. It's right around the corner. And I'm going to ride there on my bike and just pee on their seat in the girls' john and steal the toilet paper and write Mgtow on it. because you so offend me. You couldn't have a deal for everybody. It's like single guy pizzas and a salad, half price. That'd be so cool. It's like single guy packages. Where just like someone would come up with single guy packages delivered from Pizza Hut or Domino's or Marco's or Chicken Hut or Chester Fried Chicken or something. It's like one deal for a single guy, like the single guy special. Like it's a mini pizza. Like you get 2 mini pizzas because we're fat asses. We're men. We're gonna eat both of them anyways, and a salad, which we really don't want. And like it comes with a beer. It comes with your favorite beer from the bar. But they'll regulate against that because that's immoral. Is it immoral that we had a single guy special? Or is it immoral that it came with a beer? That's what I was always wondering. Like, what makes it immoral? I guess we're into ethics now. Like, the bar delivers single guy pizza specials with a beer. All you got to do is eat it, and then I fall asleep in my chair. Like, that's it. That's the immoral part. I fall asleep in my chair. I'm having like all that sugar and goodness and fat is flowing through me, and I just pass out in my chair after drinking a beer because I'm so happy. Because finally, after 40 years, there was a single guy special. Jesus Christ. But that's probably what I'm going to do tonight. I have to like lie to the system, and I have to become a liar in this thing. So then they're like, yeah, that's what all you single guys are, liars, because you're trying to get the family special. It works out into society that way too. That's the way they think about us. Like somehow we're all rapists and liars, and because that's what society has made us into. That's what the position they put us into, where we have to lie to get the family special. You see how that works? You made us that. You created us. You created us. I should look through the internet tonight and see what kind of all these family specials they're running and see if there's one like single guy special. There's never. No. They're like single guys, you can go out and like go to your local and then just get corona and die because you're not adding to anything. That's what they're telling you too. Just go out and die. Or matter of fact, you'll be the pizza delivery guy because we'll make you into that because you don't believe in our Jesus. You could like run around and just hand. I was wondering how they're going to hand that to me with social distancing. It's like they got this big pizza, like one of those pizza boards that you get the pizza out of the oven with, and they just kind of like roll back and they hand it to you. And then you put the money on the board and they bring it back. Take the money, they put your salad on, and like, here, I forgot your salad. Social distancing pizza. Because I would like to get a video of that because it would just be funny. That would just be funny. It would. And that's the best we can look forward to. Like, when you're saying things are just funny, they're sarcastic, they're ironic, they're absurd. That's all you're saying is you're living in the theater of the absurd, and these funny things are going on around you, being a single Mgtow, and you're just noticing that. Why isn't that? Why can't I just get 2 pork chops at the store for the same price as the family pack? Or do I have to buy the family pack of pork chops so I can enjoy that luxury price? I'll tell you what, if it's all about the packaging, like just put it in a fucking Ziploc bag. Just 2 pork chops and put single guy $1.99 a pound instead of like 2 pork chops for like $2.38 instead of the family pack that's $1.89. It's like, yeah, just put it in a fucking Ziploc bag and just throw them up there. It's like the single guy section where they have everything comes on packaged in Ziploc bags. It's like, we're okay with that. They throw a pound of hamburger in there, and it's the same price as the family pack. Oh, there's no single guy taxes in this universe. Yes, there is. Every time you go to the grocery store, you go to the meat counter, there's single guy taxes all over that. It's all over that. It's like, what if I can't eat that salad for four? What if I just want a salad for one? And then you look at Kmart, it's like Walmart, you got the salad for one, and it costs like $6, and the salad for four costs like $5. It's like, oh man, the single guy salads must be much better, but they're not. I tried them. I tried both of them. I tried the big salad and the four family pack salad, and I tried the little ones that come in the little things. They're generally more expensive per pound, and they weren't any better. And I was like, this sucks. You guys lied. You guys lied. No, it was you were bilking you to begin with, because there's a single guy tax. It's like, who needs a half gallon of milk? You drink a half gallon of milk in a month. It's like, I use it for like, I need one of those little ones or a bunch of those little ones, like single guy milks, single guy cream, like the can of beans. I like those little cans of beans. They got one serving in there, and I just pour it in the. It's like, but it costs $1.68 for one of those little. It's a little can, and then I look over and there's the family pack that's the same price. Oh no, there's no single guy tax in this universe. Like, yeah, there is. You just got to notice it. You got to observe it. That's from everything. That's like Pizza Hut to your taxes. Anybody that doesn't observe that a single guy pays twice the amount of taxes as a family guy, it's like, you're an idiot. These single guys are holding up this tax economy. Plus, we're paying more for our food. We're paying our garbage tax. I use the garbage once a month. It should be a quarter. It should be a quarter, a single guy quarter. But I have to pay the full price, and I have to pay for 3 cubics of water. There's the single guy tax in that. I'm not going to use 3. A single guy barely uses a cubic of water. That's 700 gallons. But I got to pay for the rest of society and my water and my garbage. I throw out my garbage once a month because I can't fill that can up. It's like hard to fill that can up halfway in a month because I don't have that much garbage, but I still have to pay that same price. And everybody else lives free on your back. You see that in the stores. You see that in Pizza Hut. I'm gonna get my family value. I'm gonna lie to them and like, man, I got a family and I want that family pack for like 50% off, and it's like, I'm gonna freeze the rest of it. So I can eat like 3 pieces of pizza. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's like 6 dinners for me. I just gotta suffer through eating a salad for the next 4 days. But that's life as a single guy. And you're going to pay for everything. Everything falls on your back, and then they dehumanize you, and they tell you you're not good enough. We've covered all this stuff. They live in a fantasy fiction world, and I mean, what's normative is their normative, and their normative is fucking absurd. And wow, their normative is so absurd. We sit back on our Mgtow benches and we wonder, like, are they ever gonna get it? Like, no, man. Like, just get a girl, have a Claire. Get Claire to take care of you. She could do your laundry and do your dishes, you lazy bastard. And night you could just like plow her and hate, like just plow her because you hate her so much. That relieves the tension for the next day. It's a circle. Goes back to circle. I was going to get a book this week about circles and how everything in this world is circular. And it's planets go around the sun. Everything's circular. Everything comes back on you. I wonder if that's philosophically correct. And I'll know by the end of the week because I'm going to buy the book. Because all I'm doing is sitting around here reading all day. Yeah. Most people cannot life alone. Look at the lack. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting phenomena that's going on. But when I first started, I started telling everybody about Camus' book, The Plague, and how people, when they're forced together, and there's like guys were beating up their wives and that, and it's like, oh yeah, Joe, you're still wrong about males having to live with females. You know what males do in this society? It's like we escape to our man caves for a reason, because if we are forced to live inside of a house with a woman for actually 2 weeks, we'd just beat her. And it tells you it's just naturally, it's just a natural phenomena that like men aren't supposed to be in that house. Hence, father is bullshit. It's like, yeah, but I'm not allowed to say that because it's observable truth. Coronavirus exposed them. But shh, Joe, they're going to take you down for saying that because you're telling the truth. Heidi, don't, yeah. Yeah, my life's the same. You know, I go out every day on my bike now, and I just bike around, and man, I was so escape. That's what I want to do. I can't wait till summer because I'm going to pack that sleeping bag and that tent on there, and I'm going to go out into the wild and where Claire can't find me, and and I'm gonna just do shit and just do that this year. If I don't like end up getting crippled again. It seems like every time in my life I finally get to a spot where I want to do something, I end up getting crippled. It's like, yeah, that's life as a working man. So that's my goal for this year, is just go out and log my journey on my electric bike through America. I've decided that I have to get the portable. I'm going to have to figure out a way to reduce the load and get the portable electric on my bike, which is a generator that's 22 pounds, and it will charge the bike, because I can't be reliant on like, hey, can I use your, I'm at the McDonald's, can I use your plug? And there's some dick there. He's like, no, you can't use the plug. It's like 2 cents. It's 2 cents. He's like, no, that 2 cents builds up. That's America for you. America, when you can't use the plug, get the plug in my bike at McDonald's. Walmart just stopped camping areas. Because all Walmarts, they have this lovely parking lots where all the truckers camp. But the better thing is, around all the Walmarts, there's some wooded area right there. It's like I could charge my bike, stay in the wooded area. I can do like primitive camping, go into Walmart, buy their shit. And like, I get one of those salads that are really expensive for single guys and just eat it. Like the chicken. They got the lovely chickens. They're chicken, and they got the berries in them, the dried berries, and they're delicious. And they give you the fork and everything, and that's just great. It's like I could buy their overpriced salad for the single guy. Camp. That's my dream this year. I'm going to do this, but I've decided that I'm going to have to buy the Sportsman. It's called the Sportsman generator. It's like 22 pounds, and that's going to take up most of my weight on my bike. Now I have to balance out where I'm going to eat, and I can't, clothes is going to be a real, where am I going to put my fucking clothes? It's like I need like 2 shirts, 2 t-shirts. I'm gonna go with sweatpants. I got like camouflage sweatpants. I don't know if you can see it. You can't see it because I can't get my leg up that far. I'm going with camouflage sweatpants, 2 pairs of those, and I'm going to use yoga pants. I'm just going to wear yoga pants and a Mgtow shirt. While I pedal around America, there'll be like pictures of me everywhere, yoga pants and a Mgtow shirt. They'll be body shaming me. I just think that would be funny. No, I'm going to wear sweatpants. So I got to get 2 pairs of sweatpants, 2 t-shirts, maybe this shirt. And this is Hardy. It's a Hardy. My buddy bought this for me. It's an old red tag blue jean shirt. And it's really stiff and nice. It's like a jacket, but it's a shirt. It's a jacket and a shirt all put in one. But yeah, so I think I'll have room, but that 22 pounds on the back, that's going to be a little, but I'll be able to charge when I want to. It takes like so many amps, as long as it doesn't draw over 10 amps, and I'm good. And I can charge wherever I want. That means I don't have to, I can land wherever I want to, since I don't have to charge and off grid. I can land off grid and just kind of underneath a bridge or like in a wooded area. I prefer wooded areas, but I fear like farmers with shotguns and get off my property people that are absurdly cruel that would shoot me. So I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go, but that's my goal. Me and Joey Pockets, we've decided that I'm going to go to Ohio to the Ozarks and back. And that'll be about 1,570 miles during the summer. So that's what I'm going to do with my $1,200 check from Uncle Sam. I'm going to shut down my house and buy the little Sportsman generator, put it on the back of my bike, and put the sleeping bag on the front. The tent will go underneath in the middle. So I got sleeping bag, tent, and I just got to pack clothes into a small bag, and I only can have like, not that I'm a filthy bastard anyways. So, and buy clothes as I go and buy meals as I go, because I won't have no space for anything else. And I need tools too for the bike, patch kits and emergency accessories. I bought the little pump, and I bought new shocks yesterday. I was so happy about that because I almost died last night. I did. Last evening, it was about 7 o'clock. I was pedaling down through the around the cliffs and I went to take this log jump, and my fork didn't come up like I was supposed to. You know, when your fork doesn't come up, and I hit it, and then this pricker bush hit me in the face, and I fell, and I was hanging over the edge of 100-foot drop. And I was like, my first thing in my mind was, oh man, I could so make this drop. I know it's man shit. You're like, I'm hanging over it. So I got back up on the bike, and I had little prickers in my face from the thorn bush and I was like, that was so dangerous. And it was just because my fork and my I have this problem when I pull up, and it's like I'm missing 2 inches because I don't have long arms. There's 2 inches that I need to come up. So I ordered a new riser for my handlebars. It's like a 35-degree angle that gets me that 2 inches. And then I ordered the 120 that pushes everything up 2 inches. So I'll get 4 inches on that jump. I fell 3 times this year already. Like just doing stupid bunny hops over like trees and shit. You know, it was like this time I was like hanging on the edge of the cliff, and I was like, oh man, if I would have fell, that would have hurt. it wouldn't have killed me because it was a shale cliff and it was probably 120 feet to the, it is 120 feet exactly to the bottom. And, but it graduates down with the shale. So I know because I was a kid and I used to jump down those things, like it's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt that much. As long as I don't start tumbling or like keep control. But I was thinking like, as soon as I hit that shale, I like dig in and like see if I can actually ride this thing out. I know it was a bizarre thought that I was having. And I was like, oh man, that would be so cool. And I was thinking, oh, I'm going to try this year. I'm just going to intentionally ride off that cliff and see if I could just kind of tail whip it into the shale and then just kind of ride it out 120 feet down. But I bought a new shock. That's what I wanted to tell you. I got home and I was like so sick of like falling. And like, so I bought a aerial shock, a nice, it was a 5.6 pounds. It's an air shock. It's gas air. And I put on my bike. It should give me a little more lift. It's going to give me that 2 inches I need to, it was like the whole thing's going to cost me $157. It was a pretty good price. Yeah. My friend would have been so pissed at me if I would have fell over and died. He's always telling me, like, Joe, you're going to die doing that because you're old. And I'm like, yeah, I am old. I am. It's a fact. And the guys around here in Mgtow, they let me know all the time, like, yeah, Joe, you're old. You're OG. And I was like, yeah, I am. And it's like, but I still like that shit. I'm the same guy as I used to be. Little boys, dream Joe. Yeah, I want to hit that fucking hill this year and just, I want to see if I could pull it off. I think I would die. I think I could pull it off. I think I could still pull it off at my age. If I hit it and then I just tail whip and then I just kind of lean into it and it kind of sideways down until I hit the shale. And as soon as but I don't know what the shale feels like on the tires. That's the only thing. It'll be a surprise. And whether I could take it the rest of the 60 feet down is like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You'll read about me in the paper. But it'd be nice to die like that rather than like of cancer or like vaginosis. I'd hate to die of vaginosis, like little just vagin, like that's like traditional guys get. They get vaginosis and they get little vaginas all over their skin. That was a South Park episode, by the way. That was funny. My son, I remember my son was there that summer when they made that South Park episode, and he was just like 14 or 15, and they showed it, and it was a little vagina on the guy's arm, and he goes, "Oh, you got vaginosis." My son started laughing so hard. It was like, no cure. There's no cure for mangina, vaginosis. Yeah, it's in your stem cell. It's in your stem back thing. We got manginal vaginosis. That's usually every married guy has got vaginal vaginosis. Hetty, you think it's a childish dream to do that 120-foot drop into the? You think I'd kill myself? Yeah. I mean, I could dream. I could dream about it. I was looking at it because I was hanging over the edge yesterday. My head was over the edge, and the thing was all in my face, and I was like swearing like horrible. If you'd have heard the swearing alone. And I was looking, and I was like, I think I could land that. It was ridiculous, I know. But that's why us men are. Like, we're 120 feet in the air, and we're on a little thing, and we're looking down, and I'm like, wonder if I can jump into that dumpster. I mean, so manly of me. I just, like, throw a rope out here and just slide down. Like, everybody would think I was the coolest thing in the whole world. We have these dreams of masculinity, and we do those things too. I've seen some incredible things men done and I've done in my lifetime. It's like slide down a rope from a helicopter and drop into the ocean. Run up onto like it's just this man thing. It's like I seen a guy once. I told you guys this once. We were working on this crane, and we're like 200 feet in the air. It's a steel crane in the steel bay, and when I'm replacing the carbon blocks on a three phase, because they're blowing out because water is coming through the top, and I had the guy next to me, and I'm doing my stuff, and he's been doing it for years and years and years, and the top of a building like that looks like they have those structures up there and everything. So we're going down, we're on these little carts like 200 feet in the air, and I'm you grind off the tip, make sure everything's going, you move to the next, grind it, replace the block, and I dropped my screwdriver, and I looked down, and I was like, oh man, I gotta go all the way back down there, I gotta climb down the ladder, and it's just going to be like horrible. And then this guy like looks at me and he goes, you ass. And he grabs a hold he gets off his cart and he grabs a hold and he swings over and he puts a screwdriver on my, and he swings back and gets back in the cart 200 feet in the air. And I was like, that was kind of really impressive. I wish I could have got that on a video, dude. He was like, fuck you. But men do incredible things. And that's the point. We always do those things, whatever business you're in, and whatever thing you do in this lifetime. Whatever, if you do like I do, and you try at 60 years old to be a mountain biker, there's still something incredible you have to offer this universe just because you're a man. And the young guys too, man, I'm just so impressed with the mountain biking younger kids now. They're so aggressive. It's like, god damn, that makes me cry when I see it sometimes. It's like kids like flying hundreds of feet in the air, 60 feet out, and just doing a truck driver no-hander. The other day was that he did a windshield wiper washer. A 360 windshield wiper washer. That means you change you're going this way and then you go this way. I had a backflip and landed it. It was like so impressive. Guys are like, that's what we do. That's what men do. It's like, and then we get heat from the women. It's like, didn't you see that? Did you see what I did for you? It was so beautiful. No, they don't see it. They don't see the beauty in those things, what we do. Our society is so disturbing nowadays. It really is. Women no longer see the beauty in the male archetype, in the male figure, because they're so told that we're bad. It's like, didn't you see that thing I did? Yeah, no. So I still want to do my drop off. I think I could do that. It's like, I don't know how many. I have to measure. I'll take a string there one of these days and measure down to the kind of white line, the first white line that the sleigh drops. See if I can. It's probably 30 feet to the first, and then I got to catch it. But I don't know if I'm going to catch. That's the thing. I think I'm going to try it. But that's Mgtow. Well, I'll do that. Y'all do that. You're all these things. You're all these things. These just these wonderful men things that they made, and you're not appreciated anymore. And that's why we have this group. That's why we do these things anymore. Because we build those, and that's what we do. And we're not appreciated. So their whole normative figure of, okay, I could go on to that. I was going to wrap it up, but I'll go on to it. Rob says, "Hey Joe, can you elaborate on sexual crypsis?" It's SIS. When you type it in, it's crypsis. It won't come up. It'll come up cryptis, and that's female choice is cryptis. So it's crypts. I always emphasize that so you guys will get it someday in tribe society. So sexual crypsis is we don't know when a female is pregnant. We don't know when she's mating or she's having her period, or we don't know. We can't tell. It's her fertility is hidden, is what is sexual crypsis. Her fertility is hidden, and with that, we have to start looking at other creatures around biology that have a cryptic society like that, with our fertility is hidden. And what it comes down to is they hide their fertility so they can get the resources from many males, like this male, this male, this male, this male, because obviously she's been through all those males. And that's what we see today in society. She's been through all those males, but nobody knows who's the father. For a million years, this is the way it worked. All the guys thought that they were the father. So you can see this playing out in human society now. All the guys think they're their father. You can test this thing with, if you see a child walking out into the street, you just run up and grab it and you play the father role. All the guys think they're their father. And that's why I say fatherhood is a social construct of sexual crypsis, crypsis. So all the guys think that they're the father, and she gets, and hence Health and Human Services, we all pay into, it projects itself out into, there's millions and millions of females. So this attitude projects itself out into what we see as baby mamas, and what we see as she's polyandric. Yeah, she wants to move through the males for diversity's sake, because in her soul, she knows she wants every child to have the best chance at success. So she wants to experiment with diversity, and that's what she would have did naturally anyway. She doesn't care which genetic male. I mean, that's where love is all. They're all thinking that what love is. Man, I can't say it like I need to say it because they took me down last time I said it. It's bacterial things in your brain, and you get hooked to this, and then you feel this way, and then you become part of that crypsis, and then all males are like this. We're all cucked. We're all paying into the society that has Health and Human Services, that has support for the females, that has a true blanket for the females to land on. That's a pillow, actually, and they can't fall between the cracks, and because we're all the fathers, we're all the males are the same thing, and that's a better system, actually, because it more reflects biology, her original biology. We get off the subject, we get off the thoughts when we start thinking of monogamy in that way, because a woman can never be monogamous. Sexual crypsis determines that she has to hide her fertility, so she can never be monogamous, and that's where the religion plays a horrible role into our society. We get these ideas of objectivism and those things, and it's really not. She just wants all the males to consider themselves as fathers and donate to that thing. And it plays out very well in society. You have the female areas and everything, and that's what probably Jessica Valente was talking about when she was like, she doesn't need a man; she needs many men. She needs the society to take care of her, And we do this with our taxes. We do this with our altruism. And all men are super altruistic, and they donate, and we do what we do. Like I was talking about, we build the society for them. We gave them washing machines to big buildings like that in back of us, and places to. But we're confused now. Men are the more confused ones. We got played by religion, and we believe in monogamy now. Like one woman is going to be true to you, and that's awful. That's a horrible thing, because it's a delusional thing. And you can see my philosophy start working out here. You live in this finalized fictionalism land where you believe that she's going to be true, and she's not thinking about those other guys. She's not thinking about like moving on. And we can see the polyandry in society where she has 3 or 4 babies from different guys nowadays being supported over the monogamy of old Christianity. And this is where the barbarism comes in. We have to get rid of that barbarism, go back to naturalism. And guys, it would be a sudden blow to most of men to start thinking like Joe thinks, that it's just natural. But with that, we get our freedom. You become a totally free male. And that's what we're talking about in Mgtow, is if we accept the prospect that she is a sexual cryptis being, then with that, we get the same freedom, that we just move, and then the society takes care of her. That's how you can look around and see that's how it's supposed to work. The only people that are arguing with those are the monogamy people and the Christians that live in a fantasy fiction world of non-science. And that's sexual crypsis. But they'll argue against that, and they will come to a conservative bias on that too. It won't penetrate their thick skulls. And you hear it reflect itself all the time in Mgtow. Well, she's this, she's that, she's doing that. And like in your jealousy, in your rage, you're just saying, yeah, that's the way it is. And as soon as we start accepting that sexual crypsis is a thing, and it's real, and that's more how our society should run, that we're not going to get over this. And as long as we keep letting religion infect our social constructs, it's never going to work. That's what we see in this thing. We see these traditional males battling against the natural males, and it's just, it seems to be lunacy for me, because I can visualize it, I can see it. That's lunacy out there. But we do have these, even in Mgtow, we have these traditional males battling against this idea, and it's cognitively split in their brain that they believe there's such a thing as like this trustworthy female that, no, she's not built that way. And you're not built that way either. You're supposed to move on, and you're supposed to enjoy the fruits that are around you. And you do that for a number of years until you're deemed old like me. and that's the way it's supposed to be. And no one's supposed to ask you questions, call you names. You're not a deadbeat dad in that situation, since we are all equally paying for the females. And that's what we have now. But I told you about Durkheim's social fact that there's people stealing from that money, and it never makes it down to the females and the babies and the children. And we have governments stealing that money and building their halls of religiosity and divorce courts and that stuff, and trying to change the social construct that we now call the matrix. That's the social construct, this illusionary religious thing that happens. That's sexual cryptis in a nutshell. And if you think about it and you do the research about it, it's 100% truth, and it hits 3 scientific, biological, sociological facts. It is true, but we still have these cavemen, the barbarism people, that still fight against it, because they want their own wife that they can abuse and make her have sex with her at night, and they want her, they're possessive, and they want her to cook him dinners and make his bed, because he never learned how to be an adult. That's my opinion. That's my Mgtow. There's a lot of men out there that never learned how to be an adult, and I never realized that if they accepted the way females were, they would do better in society. They would flourish. They would they would have more sex. They would have more chances. They would have it's a better system because it's natural rather than this unnatural thing, this monstrosity that we call traditionalism that hurts people, leaves people wounded, and instead of accepting the free love, like the hippie movement that I come from, that's still correct. You just free love, you move on. You don't worry about it. You don't worry about what she's doing. She's taken care of. In a better society, she's taken care of. In that better society we already have. It's just we got to get the people at the top to stop stealing all that money. How do we do that? Hey, call me a liberal. I don't care. It's just that way works better, and it makes sense in your head if you think about it. And that's the system of sexual crypsis. So I think I'm going to end that on that point. And feel free to cut my videos up and use them if I explain something that you want. And, I won't complain. And but I'm out. I'm going to order that family pizza and freeze the rest of it and steal from the society. I'm just a single male. And I'm going to go do some of those things and maybe take another bike ride tonight. And just enjoy life. It's Friday night, and I hope you're enjoying life too. Most of all, thanks for coming around, and thanks for being Mgtow. Mgtow.